on King from the remainder of that trial. Because the school administrators were allowing Larry to wear what he wanted as long as it did not violate the dress code, the defense was arguing that this allowed Larry to sexually harass Brandon.
No, just because somebody is wearing makeup and a cute outfit does not mean they are trying to harass you.
Yeah.
That is not a good... No.
Yeah, literally.
No.
The trial ended without a verdict and was declared a mistrial by the judge. Ventura County Superior Court Judge Charles Campbell on Thursday, September 1st, 2011, after the jury reported that they were hopelessly deadlocked and unable to reach a unanimous verdict. There were 8 weeks of testimony with almost 100 witnesses, and the jury had been deliberating since August 26, 2011. The jury had taken 4 votes, and the last vote was split between 7 jurors voting for voluntary manslaughter and 5 jurors voting for first-degree or second-degree murder. Later analysis showed defense attorneys had chosen to pursue gay panic defense tragedy, which with several jurors later stating on the television program 2020 that Larry had been bullying Brandon, leaving Brandon with no way out. Are you serious?
No.
Are you serious?
So, no. Several jurors later stated on the TV show that they shouldn't have been allowed to comment on that show because now the second trial is like gonna be fucked.
Oh.
If the jurors like Googled what happened in the first trial and they find that video, it's gonna influence them.
Oh, for sure. So, for the second trial, on September 2nd, 2011, the district's attorney office announced that they intended to retry Brandon, and a hearing was scheduled for October 5th, 2011. For the second trial, the prosecutors dropped the hate crime charge. On November 21st, 2011, Brandon pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, and the use of firearm. He was sentenced to 21 years behind bars, initially in a juvenile facility, and then in prison upon turning 18, with no credit given for time served prior to the trial or for good behavior. He was sentenced on December 19th. Brandon is currently in prison at the California Correctional Center. Oh my god. Literally just this whole
dropping
story.
the hate crime charge is just ridiculous.
And
because this is literally a hate crime.
This is literally a hate crime, and not only that, but the fact that adults, very well grown adults in the jury, think that this 15-year-old boy deserved to die and that he was bullying Brandon. Adults.
Yeah. Goes to show, it's like what you're exposed to can influence you so much. Like, these people need to stop with their anti-LGBTQIA propaganda.
They really fucking do, because
this kills people, man. It kills people.
Not only does it kill people,
it devastates lives for real.
Exactly, and it makes people think that this is okay. That this is okay for there to be justifiable murder against minorities. Like...
Absolutely.
So I have some quotes for you, Dylan, and these honestly just fucking hurt my heart.
Okay. Let's do it.
This is from Larry's father, Greg King. Larry had a complicated life, but he did not deserve to be murdered. Greg King said that he was satisfied by the deal reached with his son's killer, given the unpredictability of juries. 21 years is a long time, King said. At the end of the day, this is something we can live with.
I'm glad that they feel like some kind of closure. I think that like nothing will bring back their son, but at least they feel like it is sufficient time spent. Because it usually doesn't work out that way, and all that does, I feel like, makes the parents carry that weight with them. Yeah. And that anger and resentment. And, I mean, this is a shitty situation, but at least in this case, there was some justice served. So
Yeah. The victim's mother, Dawn King, revealed for the first time Monday that she had contacted school officials 4 days before the shooting in an effort to solicit their cooperation in toning down her son's behavior. The boy had been taken from King's home 2 months earlier by authorities because of problems at home. She said she was told that her son had civil rights to explore his sexual identity. She is quoted as saying, "I knew gut instinct that something serious was going to happen. They should have contained him and contained his behavior." So the family, especially Larry's father, really felt that this was the school's fault for allowing him to express himself.
I still feel like this is victim blaming.
Even it's coming from his parents.
Yeah, even from the family's point. Like, the fact that you would still say it was, like, your child's fault for expressing who they are is beyond me. Like, that is not... I understand that they loved their child, right? And they didn't want any harm to go by them. But it was not your son's fault for this horrific incident to have occurred to them. It is 110% Brandon's fault for committing the heinous act, and that is why that person is sitting in jail. So no, I don't think I think it's sad that even in death Larry doesn't get the support from his family. So yeah, rest in peace, Larry.
Rest in peace, Larry, and
thank you so much for sharing that. Even though I know you're hitting a lot of... every time you hit, like, a really just heavy topic like this, I think about how important it is that we know that this is even happening. Because I'm telling you, weeks ago, I didn't know this was a thing. Like, at all.
Yeah.
I didn't know that people were using this as an actual legal defense. Like, that's crazy. And you have to know the ugly so we can become aware of it. But I thank you so much for doing all of this research and for giving us such a thorough and beautiful piece today.
Honestly, I am really glad that I am able to do that, and I mean, for lack of a better term, I'm really glad that I was able to provide this information. Although I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that this was easy for me.
No, and I know, and that's why I wanted to thank you, on the podcast, because I know how hard it must be. Even that last case that I know hit close to home for you, since you did come out very early on and you were bullied in school. I think just seeing, having to go through that, I thank you, because you're right. That hits. Yeah.
So, the only thing that we can do is really just bring awareness, really help to fight homophobia and transphobia. Men and boys like these shouldn't be allowed to get away with the things that they did, and it's like, even though there's being time served and there's probation and there's this and there's that, I still feel at the end of the day nothing justifies someone's life being taken, whether their sexuality or their gender identity.
That should never...
It should never be a factor of whether someone was rightfully murdered or not. So, and I know that I keep saying that, but fuck, I really just can't. So, as you guys know, we do love to do spotlight organizations. So, for this week's spotlight organization, I would really like to bring GLAAD, which is GLAAD, to your guys' attention. So GLAAD rewrites the scripts for LGBTQ plus acceptance. As a dynamic media force, GLAAD tackles tough issues to shape the narrative and provoke dialogue that leads to cultural change. GLAAD protects all that has been accomplished and creates a world where everyone can live the life that they love.
Boom.
So, as you guys can see here, we obviously need more awareness to people. More awareness really needs to happen, and I'm really happy to hear that GLAAD is doing that. So if you guys would like to pay them a visit, their website is going to be glaad.org, and you can donate underneath the donate tab, and it'll also be listed in our show notes below and on our website. But that completes the episode for this week, Dylan. So I really wish that we could just end on better terms, and like I'm really trying to find a way to like steer this to like a happy goodbye. But fuck.
Yeah, well, I think you did an excellent job, and that was very informative. So I think that just goes to show how important it is for people who can safely be out and proud to do so for the people who can't, and to expose others and just put a face on those labels, to end this demonization that people have with the LGBTQIA community.
Yes.
There you go.
I agree with you 100%, Dylan. Well, thank you so much for listening to me. I know that it couldn't have been easy for you either, but thank you for listening to this, and thank all of you for making it to the end if you did. So, Dylan, tell us what we can be looking forward to next week.
I'm really excited for next week's episode because I get to interview a very amazing person, a very beautiful, gorgeous, amazing person.
Oh my gosh, wait, Lady Gaga's coming on the show?
Shut up. Zach, I am interviewing you next week, and we are getting juicy, we are getting dirty, we are getting all the grimes.
Yes.
And
yes.
all
Lord
of the tea.
I have a lot of it, yes. All the herb, hello.
So stay tuned for next week.
Stay tuned for next week, guys. Please make sure to share us with your friends, your family members, your plants. Your plants are going to love listening to us. You know what my parents used to make me do when we would be leaving the house when I was younger for my animals? So that my animals wouldn't be scared, they would make us leave the TV on. So your plants aren't scared when you're gone, or your animals are home alone. You should totally just like leave our podcast.
Yeah, they want to listen to us too.
They want to listen to us. Like, they need to be aware of these things just as much as you guys do. So thank you guys so much for listening. We are
Whisper Podcast.
Thanks for listening to Whisper Podcast. We're Zach and Dylan, and you can find us at Whisper Podcast on Instagram and on Twitter at Whisper_podcast. Visit our website and blog at thewhisperpodcast.com. Interested in chatting with us live? Send us a DM at one of the social sites or reach out at whisperwfpodcast@gmail.com with potential interviewees stated in the subject line. Cover art by Dylan Gomez. Editing by Zach Tyler. Music by Audionautics.com. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and SoundCloud. Love the show? Please rate, review, and subscribe to us on Apple Podcast. We are a completely independent show, and if you'd like to give your support for the show and get a shout out on air with a special gift, you can find us at Whisper Podcast on Patreon.com.
Zach and Dylan are not licensed professionals, nor do we claim to be. Podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only. If you or a loved one are in need of immediate help, we recommend that you contact a licensed professional or a hotline pertaining to your needs, which can be found on our website under the Help Is Here tab.